My name is Binta Zakari, and I could have sworn the entire city of Abuja was playing a prank on me. Let me tell you what happened. It was early December, and while I should have been tangled in holiday events and gatherings, I was dodging party invitations and Christmas carols with a heavy heart because my boyfriend is getting married and I'm not a bride. The traffic in Abuja was becoming notorious as it did every December, with people traveling all around for the season. For me, it was just another work day, and my mind was packed with thoughts of bills to pay and the rising cost of fuel. Christmas was no longer the magical season of peace, love, and cozy family gatherings it used to be as a child. Now, it simply marks a countdown to end of year deadlines and shopping frenzies. I walked into my office that morning, barely noticing the Christmas decorations and carol songs playing faintly at the reception. As I settled in, an unexpected message from a friend popped up on my phone with a picture. I could not believe my eyes. It looked like a pre-wedding picture and a wedding invitation at the same time, like a combo deal, sort of. But the man in the picture looked so much like my boyfriend Bashir. It took me a moment to face the reality that my boyfriend is getting married and I am not the bride. The shock was quick and it sank into me like a stone in a well. Bashir, the man I had loved for 3 years, the one I imagined the future and built a life with. It felt unreal, like a storyline from one of those Nollywood movies or something from Joe, except this was my reality. I did the first thing that came to my mind, dial his number. A part of me still hoped he would pick up and reassure me the person in the picture, although had an uncanny resemblance to him, was not him, and that he loved me so much he would never hurt me or embarrass me like that. I also thought of driving over to his place to confront him, but the fear of the unknown gripped me. What if Bashir was really getting married? What if I met the lady at his place? Would I fight or would I walk away in shame? Now, fighting had never been my forte, so I came to the conclusion that calling was a less embarrassing action to take. So I called him countless times like a mad person. But all I heard was, the MTN number you're trying to call is currently switched off. Please try again later. Thank you. When my phone rang a few minutes after that, I picked it up, hoping it was Bashir. But it was my mother, calling to ask me if I would be home for Christmas. Without hesitation, I said no, like I did every year since I moved to Abuja. My mother did not try to convince me because she had grown used to my response, but she still called every year regardless. When the call ended, I went back to sulking and feeling sorry for myself and spent the entire day reminiscing on how the signs of my relationship ending the way it did was staring me in the face all along. Oh, how I could have avoided the pain I was feeling. If I had stopped making excuses for Bashir, I should have known not to take him seriously. The man was a walking red flag. Last Christmas, I started playing from a truck down the road, and something in the sound gave me the grit to stop feeling sad over good riddance. With a broken heart and a low spirit, I called back my mother. Mama, I think I'm coming home for Christmas, I said, hiding my pain with a steady voice. 3 days later, I was on a bumpy, dusty ride to Akwanga, my hometown, which was hidden somewhere between the popular cities of Lafia and small towns like Toto in Nas. Here the air was dusty, the breeze dry and the sand hot. The wind carried the scent of dust and the faint smell of fried awara and masa from the market as my childhood memories of how I ran around this market came flooding back. The next morning, after a warm, beautiful sleep in my childhood room, I took a walk down to the old market, which was busier than I had remembered. Christmas was closed, and every household was Christmas shopping in search of the perfect clothes and perfect material. In the middle of the cheerful chaos, I heard someone call me, "Baby." Only a few close friends called me that. I looked around but could not find the face I knew. Then I spotted a familiar face, a tall, calm figure behind the counter stacked with crates. It was Hamza, my old friend. His family had always been the town's top poultry supplier, and he decided he would stay back and join the family business when most of our mates, myself included, left for the city. Gone were the boyish features I remembered from secondary school. He was a man now. He had grown into his looks. His sun-kissed skin showed how long he spent under the sun. His eyes were calm, and I could tell from looking at them that he had seen more of our homeland than of the world. His sleeves were rolled up in a way that showed off his arms. which I guessed he built from either gymming or working hard on his family's farm. He didn't look like the timid Hamza I knew in school. He now had a subtle sense of confidence in the way he carried himself. Hamza, is that you? I called out, surprised by my own excitement. He smiled. I didn't know you were coming back for Christmas. We let the years melt away in a brief, friendly hug and began to chat, catching up on each other's lives. I talked about the city being overwhelming, but I said it in a casual way so he did not read meaning to it. He complained about the inflation in the country and then teased me with being a prodigal daughter who ran away from the small town that growed her and refused to return. I jokingly told him I was always made for more. I didn't mean to sound condescending, but I sounded condescending. To make up for the way I spoke earlier, I suggested, I'm an events planner now. I organize fairs and exhibitions back in Abuja. Maybe we could put together a Christmas fair for the town. Hamza laughed. A Christmas fair? I'm not sure that will work here. This is not Abuja. But knowing you will find your way. So good luck with it. It was a brief chat, but it felt good talking with an old friend. The date after our first meeting flew by fast, with my mind wondering how to make the Christmas fair a success. Although Hamza had dismissed it, I planned to convince him the next time we crossed paths. I knew Hamza. He was always like that. He liked to go with what he knew and didn't like the idea of change. But with a little push, I knew I could get him on board. One morning, my mother handed me a small basket and asked me to go buy some eggs from Hamza's farm. I didn't think anything of it until she smiled and added, "That boy is such a good boy, very responsible, and he's fine too." I knew exactly what she was hinting at, but I simply told her it was too early in the morning to be discussing men. Meanwhile, it was really because I was still hurting from my broken heart. My healing heart. But she read my opinion off and continued, "If you see the way all these girls throw themselves at him, thank God he has good home training. If not, Ah, Mama," I responded, rolling my eyes playfully. But I in fact could not deny how good looking he had grown. I did not blame the girls for throwing themselves at him as my mother claimed they did. I wore a lovely dress to collect the eggs, and on getting to his family house, I felt a slight tingle in my stomach at the thought of seeing Hamza again. The family portrait was built at the edge of the compound, and I was struck by how quiet it felt. Even for a rustic portrait, the compound seemed emptier, and the once noisy chicken house, where roosters crowed and hens clucked, were now quiet, with only a few chickens scattered around. I found Hamza in the shed, packing a few crates of eggs. He greeted me with a warm smile, but I could see the weariness in his eyes. As I walked with him to the chicken house, I noticed the rusting nets and hinges, muddy floor, empty feeders, leaking roofs, and the frail-looking chickens. The poultry farm seemed tired, a shadow of its former self. The crates were fewer, and the chickens seemed leaner. There was also an air of strain about Hamza. "How's everything going?" I asked, trying to start a conversation, but not wanting to pry. However, I was unable to ignore the signs of the struggle. Hamza sighed. He took a moment before he started to speak. "It's been hard, Binta. Between the rising price of feed and medicine for the chickens, and the fact that people now want native fowls over these broilers because they can hardly afford broilers, I haven't been making so much sales, and when I do, I sell the healthy broilers at a loss just to keep things running." My heart ached at the sight of this old friend of mine, who had always been so proud of his family's business, now struggling. I looked around, and suddenly I remembered something. "Why don't we try something different this Christmas?" I suggested. "We could organize that Christmas fair I told you about, but now we'll make it a Christmas chicken fair." Hamza looked at me, not interested, but before he said no, I explained further, my voice filled with anticipation. "Imagine it, we set up stores where people can come and buy chickens at a discount. Those that aren't in the best shape or the ones you're worried might not sell at all. We can make it festive with decorations, music, and sell them at a discount. Folks will rush at it, and some of the local food vendors too. A Christmas trade fair, right here in Akwanga. They would love the chance to get their chickens for less, and it would mean fewer losses for you. I'm telling you, we can do this." I organized one last year in Abuja, and it was massive. My enthusiasm was infectious, and I explained my vision to Hamza, gesturing with my hand as I described the market stalls, the lively decorations, and the community spirit it would inspire. Hamza listened quietly with hesitation, but his eyes had a twinkle of hope, and that was enough for me. A Christmas chicken fair, he repeated, testing the idea in his head. But Binta, who would even come? People here are used to the usual local market. And with the inflation and how money is tight, that's exactly why they would come, I interrupted. We'll make it something they can't resist. Imagine it first. Special discount, festive treats, maybe a raffle for a prize or two. People that are not even in Akwanga would want to come. They might even come from Lafia and Cairo to see what's going on. You can also get few of the other local vendors involved to sell roasted chicken, food and drinks. They make extra sales for themselves and you get to move some of these chickens before they start costing you even more. Hamza thought about it, nodding slowly. It was an ambitious plan, but he said my confidence gave me a sense of reassurance. You're right, the poultry could use something special to pull people in and maybe even keep them coming back, he said. Then he smiled. All right, Binta, let's do it. Let's give this town something to talk about this Christmas. From that morning, Hamza and I walked side by side, planning on setting up for the fair. We printed simple flyers, set up wooden stand, and spread the word across Akwanga about a special Christmas market where families could get discounted prices on chickens and eggs. Word spread quickly throughout, from Kefi to Toto, Lafia to Maraba, and even Suleja. Curious whispers about the upcoming fair filled the town street, and anticipation grew as people started to look forward to something new, a festive market right in a small town. The town's women contributed decorations. They brought ornaments and streamers from past years, and the local musicians agreed to pay for free to support the fair. I coordinated every detail with the precision of the seasoned event planner that I am, and made sure everything ran smoothly. Our days were filled with planning, and we often found ourselves laughing at our own clumsy mistakes. I loved the warmth of the small town's community, and I enjoyed the simple charm of being back home more than I thought I would. Working so closely with Hamza was something unexpected. There was a new friendliness in our friendship that made us closer in a way I hadn't expected. We spent long hours arranging stalls and organizing schedules, laughing and talking about everything. Memories of our teenage lives, our dreams, and the strange paths our lives had taken. I caught Hamza occasionally staring at me with a look that felt different when we laughed. Sometimes in quiet moments, our eyes met, and I felt my heart skip a bit, but I always brushed the feeling away each time, focusing on the task at hand. Late one evening, as we were finishing up decorations for the fair, Hamza paused, looked at me with a thoughtful expression and said, You know, Binta, when I heard you were coming back, I thought we'd just catch up a bit, maybe have a few laughs about old times. Or maybe you would deem yourself too high to say hello if we cross paths, like you city girls do. I never imagined this, as if he was trying to say not only the fair, but the new level of friendship between us. I never thought I'd enjoy preparing for Christmas so much again, he continued. Thank you for this, for everything. I didn't expect to feel this rush of emotional connection. In a moment of hesitation, I looked away saying, It's been nice, really nice. I said it in the most casual way, but my heart was full. My mind was racing with the possibility that maybe, just maybe, I was home for more than just Christmas. You know, like in those Hallmark Christmas movies. There was a moment of silence between us, filled with unspoken feelings that seemed to linger in the cool night air. My heart was still pounding in my chest, so I quickly changed the subject to break the ice. Anyway, let's focus on tomorrow, I said, pretending not to notice the lingering look in his eyes. We need this fair to go off without a hitch. Hamza chuckled. Yes, boss, whatever you say. But in his eyes, there was a spark I couldn't ignore. And that was when I realized I had completely forgotten about Bashir and the pain he caused me. Until now, I hadn't thought of him. Finally, the day of the Christmas chicken fair arrived. The town was shooting with excitement as families streamed in, drawn by the colorful decorations and festive music that filled the air. Stalls lined the square, offering everything from chilled kunu and fura de nono to warm fried masa, iloka, awara, dauka, chicken, with aroma of spicy hot suya in the air, and traces of the smoky after smell of late knockout steaks. Hamza's chicken sold out quickly, and the people were grateful for the discounted prices. I had even arranged for a raffle, with a grand prize being a free chicken for one lucky family, which brought even more excitement. Laughter and joy filled the entire square, and for the first time in a long time, Hamza's family farm came alive, with every chicken selling out before the fair was even over. As the sun began to shine less, Hamza and I watched the happy families living with their chickens and their faces glowing. I felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing I had brought joy not only to the town, but also to Hamza and his family. But there was something else, something I had been trying to ignore. The soft glances, the shared laughter, the subtle touches. They all pointed to something deeper than friendship. But I needed Hamza to be intentional, and I wanted to be sure I knew what I was feeling. Finally, as the last stall was packed and the square became empty, Hamza turned to me. His face was serious but hopeful. Binta, I don't want this to end. Not the fair, not us. Working with you reminded me of all the things I'd forgotten. The simple joy of family, of community, of being with someone who truly understands me. I felt something in my heart, but I hesitated. And soon, whatever I felt was overshadowed by flashes of my city life, and my broken relationship was tugging at my heart. I'm scared, Hamza, I admitted. What if this is just the excitement of the season and it's nothing more? He reached out, gently taking my hand. Then let's find out. Stay a little longer, Binta. Let's see where this goes. I stayed a little longer and we attended a few other events and fairs together. It was a fun Christmas and New Year celebration, first I had in a long time. But soon the celebration was over and it was time for me to return to Abuja. After moving my travel dates 5 times, I finally decided on what day to travel. Hamza saw me off to the park that evening, and while we waited for the bus to get full, he put me to a corner and gave me a tight cuddle under the stars. And then I realized that sometimes the best gifts are the ones we never expect. But I still had doubts, so I gave him no reply. A gentle breeze blew, brushing my hair across my face. I promise it was just like in the movies. Hamza smiled, tugged the hair behind my ears, and we both stood in silence, living in the moment. After a while, he spoke again. Binta, I know your life in the city is important to you, and I don't want to take that away. But maybe there's a way to make it work for both of us. You could keep planning your event in the city, and we could set something up here too. But the times when you're home, who says you only have to choose one life? I could take on some projects in Abuja, but also help create events here in Akwanga. I paused, envisioning a life where I didn't have to sacrifice one place for another. It would be different, difficult even, but maybe it could work. Hamza nodded. I'll be here every time you come back, helping you plan, setting up decorations with you. Even if I'm no match for your city-level event planning skills, he teased. And it's not just about the fair or the work. Binta, I love you, and I want a future with you. I smiled. Every idea of doubt within me vanished. I want that too, Hamza. With you, as I returned to Abuja, I carried with me the knowledge that Akwanga and Hamza would always be waiting. And for me, that was the greatest Christmas gift of all. And that's how I got my happily ever after. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Merry Christmas!
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!